Hey, I'm Nena Barlow, and we've had a lot of requests for how to lift heavy tires. So this is part one of how to lift heavy tires. Of course, if you're taking the tire off the vehicle, everybody says lift with your back, or not lift with your back, lift with your legs. That's definitely what I'm going to be doing. So you can see I'll put my legs like right under the tire, and just kind of I'm holding kind of the weight on the tire. You can just kind of drop it down. Now what about getting it back up on the Jeep? There's two ways you can do that. It depends on what works best for you. So kind of the old way that I used to do this is kind of roll it up on my leg. So I'll have the weight on this leg and the tire's gonna roll up this leg. Now again, I'm using my legs to do the lifting, not so much my arms. And so I just kind of roll it on up. Now the trick with this is, now you're sideways to your target of trying to get this thing lined up on here. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty easy. This is great. This is a little tiny 33-inch tire, right? What about one of the bigger boys? We have a 35. So if I remember correctly, this guy weighs about 85 pounds, and I'm about 150 pounds. So this is more than half my weight I'm going to be lifting. Now I can still use that same technique of rolling it up my leg like this. That's one way to do it. But the other way is, I learned this from Chris. This is old tire guy trick. Okay, kind of squat into it there, lay the tire back on my legs. Again, I'm still using my legs to lift. And then I'm gonna reach down. This looks like it's killing your back, but see, I'm kind of doing squats here. And then I'm gonna just lift it up. And you can see, actually, see my legs are doing the lifting. All right, this is actually pretty easy. And now I'm going to be right in line to get that spare tire in there. Ta-da! Hi, I'm Nena Barlow again, and we are doing part 2 of how to lift heavy tires. We'll do another video on just some basic tire changing, but just as a reminder for safety, you always want all of the tires chalked that you're not changing. And then of course, you're gonna be out here in the sticks when you get a flat tire. And so we didn't want to do this on a nice clean garage floor. We wanted to make sure we had plenty of debris around for realism, including, you'll notice I'm using the factory jack. And we're using a nice flat rock as a jack base to just give us a little bit of extra lift there. We don't use high lift jacks to change tires. Now, one of the tricks is, the first thing is, we don't want to lift this too high off the ground. Lift the Jeep just enough to get the tire on and off very easily. You don't want to lift it 6 inches if you don't have to. Just an inch or two is going to be plenty of exertion. So a couple of different ways you can get this tire up here on these lug nuts. Number one is down here on the ground. So you'll see a couple of different ways to do this. Some people like to put their knees and lift the tire this way. I don't like to have any body parts under the Jeep if I can help it. So what I like to do is lift with my feet. And so I will get the tire lined up here. So just kind of wiggle it into place. And you can see where those studs are. We're going to line those up with the holes in the wheel so that once we lift, it's just straight up. Then we're not trying to twist around. So I'm going to get down here, get my feet. I'm lifting with my feet and guiding with my hands. So, and I'm not quite lined up, so let me get a little bit better. It's a nice clean job. Okay, so that's one way. And you can see now that the wheel is on here, you can see that there's just barely about 1.5 inches or so under there. So I didn't have to lift it too far. So that helps. Now the next thing you can do, take this right back off of here, is use some leverage. And so we got the wheel kind of lined up where we want it. But now what we can do is grab either, we got, of course, tire changing tools you should have anyways. Another handy tool, this is the handle from one of our high lifts. So good leverage there. We place that tire iron right here under where the wheel studs are, and we're going to roll that tire right up onto that, what we're using as a lever, and lift it up, just like that. Okay, now what if you're out in loose terrain? You're out in gravel, looser gravel than this, sandy wash, or out at the sand dunes or something like that. This is going to want to sink into the ground when you try to use it for leverage. So now you're going to need to apply something a little bit firm under there. What I use a lot of times, you could just use your floor mat, carpeted or otherwise. That will help considerably. And then, so you place the lever, the edge of the lever on there, and then lift it like so. Or in really soft terrain, what I do is I take a Max Trax, I turn it upside down, and I will fill it with the sand to make a level surface there. And then you have a level surface to work your lever to lift your tire. So one more time. This time I'll do it with the high lift handle. We're going to get that lined up. And then we're going to roll it back out of the way, put our level in place. And see, I can do this with just about one hand here. So the tire's on the lever. I lift the lever up, and voila. Now again, I'm about 150 pounds before lunch, and the tire here is about 85 pounds, and I can do it with one hand. So there you go.